Dear students, welcome to English class. Today we are going to discuss Agony, a poem written by Anil Gharai. Let's begin by looking at who Anil Gharai is. Anil Gharai is a famous Bengali poet who was born in 1957 and died in 2014. Anil Gharai is an important, well-known figure in the Indian literary world, especially because he is an established voice in the field of Dalit literature. Anil Gharai is a staunch supporter of the Dalit cause in literature. He manifests the angst of the marginalized and the downtrodden communities through his works. Initially, his focus was on novels, but later he understood that he could depict the sufferings, the realities of Dalit life in India through his poems, and later he turned to the poems as well. The agony, patience, sufferings, and sorrows of the Dalits, especially of the elderly, the old men and women, sharpened his Dalit consciousness. And if you read the poems that he authored, he wrote, we can find the fine illustration of the Dalit consciousness, depiction of the sufferings of the Dalit community in India. Now, let's get to know the poem titled Agony, written by Anil Gharai. Agony is actually a translation of Anil Gharai's Bengali poem titled Agony, and which is translated by Indranil Acharya. And the poem, Agony, plunges to the depths of the woes undergone by Dalit community in India, and which is depicted as a tale of old, desolate Dalit woman striving for her basic amenities of food, water, and shelter. The woman that is referred to in the poem with blurred BPL ration card represents many deprived souls among the marginalized communities for whom the tricolor stings like a venomous asp. So the woman referred to in the poem is actually a representation of a number of women from the marginalized sections of Indian social domain, and for whom what we consider with huge regard, with high regard, are venomous as that stings them. The quagmire of racial bigotry, caste supremacy, and upper class prejudices have bereft these poor souls of their identity and left them in pestilence and crisis to burn their mind, body, and soul. So they are in complete turmoil. Now let's look at the poem, which starts with that is a tale which is actually a painful tale, told with difficulty. Why is it told with difficulty? Because it's a painful tale. To whom do they belong? So we are talking, the poet is actually talking about a group of people. To whom do they belong? Forest, land, or heart? So they're, people of, land. They are the depraved, abandoned souls. And now we are focusing, we are zooming on a particular old woman and her face, on a wrinkled face, wrinkled face. She is old, which actually shows, the plight of a life, and a famished body, hunger. The tricolor stings like a venomous ass. The tricolor actually stands for the authority or the independence or all the high regards that we have in our mind about our nation or, you know, uh, our country, but which actually stings these people, the poor people, the deprived souls of a country like a venomous ass. That's what the poet is trying to depict through these lines. And what did she say? I need food. I need water. Those are the basic, you know, um, amenities that is required to survive. I need shelter amongst my people, basic needs of people. The old woman crouches slowly. So from the community, now we have the picture of an old lady who is also actually representing the deprived souls of the community. To the closed ration shop, which actually depicts actually what happens to them. They are negated with their even, their basic uh, rights. One moment of pause. She gasps for breath in a sweltering heat. So it's a completely, extreme heat, uncomfortable heat. Her BPL card blood blurred by sweat. She is a sketch in black and white of a poor forlorn soul. She is indeed a representation, categorically, unequivocally, of a poor forlorn soul, abandoned soul, trudging in aimless path with moistened eyes. She is walking with difficulties, with moistened eyes. The arid land around her promises ruin, and there is nothing to expect. The dry land around her promises ruin. Nothing is there to expect. So, ill-fated woman, right? Marginalized, oppressed, abandoned, the deprived souls of our country. Air is sick, and the early evening moon, a beguiling dream of forbidden pleasures of yesteryears, now returns to sting. Even the moon, the evening moon. In the youth, it was actually a beguiling dream of forbidden pleasures, right? But which is beguiling means it's a deceptive aspect of yesteryears now return to sting, right? Which is actually a fraud, painful. Time ticks by, and the old soul forlorn fights with needs. Now she is old, not young any longer, and she now fights with the basic needs that one requires to survive, of rice, of hearth, of clothing. These are the basic amenities that one requires. Of festive frivolities in holy mad splash of colors between the dream and reality. Now the poet actually shows two sides of festive frivolities in holy. Frivolities means, sort of uh, lack of seriousness, right? Enjoyment, entertainment, mad splash of colors, two sides. It represents two communities, the people who belongs to upper class or upper caste and the people who are deprived of all the basic needs. Falls the shadow of pestilence. Pestilence means epidemic or crisis that they are, deterioration. I mean, that they are actually suffering from, of a gradual decay in the ramshackle frame. Disease, deadly as wood and skull, burns the body, the mind, the soul. Deadly as wood and skull. It actually affects throughout their body. not only the body but also the mind, not only the mind but also the soul. They are completely ruined, completely oppressed. Burning, burning, burning. If you look at the line, refrain, the word burning is used three times. Burning, 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 which actually shows the pathetic, the oppressed, the extreme, pain that they are suffering from. The decayed house of a deprived nation. So they are the deprived community. The decayed house of a deprived nation. So when we look at the word deprived, we should also understand which as marginalized or oppressed community. Forever doomed, and they are forever doomed. They are the ill-fated, like the ancient women struggling to survive. So the old lady here actually represents a community who are systematically sidelined or oppressed or marginalized from the mainstream of our nation. So which actually, raises very serious questions to us, especially to the younger generation of the country. So read the poem once again critically and find out find out the answers for the questions given at the end, on page number 25th as well as on 26th. Thank you.